This time on Square Roots. Long ago, the world was nothing more than an endless sea, cloaked in boundless sky, reaching as far as could possibly be imagined. Then, two great titans came into existence, the Bionis and the Mechonis. The titans were locked in a timeless battle until at last only their lifeless corpses remained. Eons have passed. Now our world, this vast land stretching across the remains of the Bionis, is under attack from a relentless force known as Mechon. Xenoblade Chronicles!
And welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by Matthew Van Zant.
Hey, it's me, Matthew Van Zant. And I'm here to record a show.
That normal.
And John Monado Brandon.
The Monado. Have I talked about the Monado enough? We should use our Monado.
And Vanessa.
Hi.
And this is a podcast where we play and talk about your favorite classic RPGs, one chunker at a time. And this week we are beginning our Xenoblade Chronicles journey, courtesy of our last vote.
What an epic journey. Walking across.
So epic.
A big man who is land? Big land man.
Yeah,
Big man who is land.
That's an accurate statement. It is a land man. Mm-hmm. We start at the foot, and then we go up the leg.
Land man, come together with your hands.
Uh-huh.
I played a little ahead, so
I hate Spoon Man.
I played a little ahead, so I have reached the penis.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
When you say you played ahead, do you mean the tip of the penis?
Gonna bring this thing back to life by any means necessary.
You're gonna jerk off the big god until he is resurrected.
Just keep jumping up and down.
It is a giant mech. These are robots, for sure.
With robotics.
Gonna dip yourself in and out of his peel.
By the time you get to Johnny, what? I know you've played Xenoblade 2. By the time Xenoblade 2 rolls around, do they live on the penis?
Yeah, that's basically where the game starts.
That makes sense.
Everyone, like, when they're ready for bed, they pull the foreskin over themselves like a comfortable blanket.
I'm assuming since this is a kind of spiritual successor to the Xenogears games, that these are also robots from a space sci-fi civilization that were like in a war, and the people that live that we're playing as on these robots are like microbe-sized, like teensy tiny Ant-Mans.
Yep. I mean,
I didn't know any of this stuff, man. My mind is blown.
Yeah.
You just
it's like that penis is about to be when I get to it.
You just talked about how they're two human things that they live on, the Bionis.
Well, yeah, I guess I did talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty bummed that you didn't sing a Xenobabies song for us. That's what I was hoping for.
Well, if you want to do the last time, you got to do it yourself. Don't tell Vanessa.
I can't.
That's
do that.
right.
No way. Only Vanessa can do the last time.
Yeah, it's pretty hard. I have
Even
to
when
write
she's not
it
on the
every
show,
week.
we make her do it.
It's tough. Like, I have to workshop it. I have to see what lands and what doesn't. And
Take
then
it out to the
I have to do
local comedy clubs.
I go down to the local comedy clubs and I test out my raw material. Find out what resonates and what doesn't. And, you know, sometimes, like, the crowd just isn't there. Like, they're not present. They're not going with me on this journey that I call podcasting.
That's called bombing.
Yeah, I know. I know what it's called, and I know how it feels, and I don't care for it.
All right, friends. What hot gaming news do you all have today?
I have one.
Oh, all right.
Go.
They announced the first episode of season 2 of the Dark Pictures anthology.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah. it's
Season
like
2? I thought they were like wrapping it up for good.
No, that was just the end of season 1. Now
Wow.
there's going to be a season 2, and it's called Directive 8020, and it's like a sci-fi horror.
Ooh.
Yeah, looks pretty cool. I don't think they've announced the release date yet, but they did put out a little teaser trailer in Game Informer that looks pretty neat.
I bet it's
I'll
going to
have
have
to check that
chest
out.
bursting and viscera and a whole bunch of stuff like that.
That sounds great.
What about a robot named Cube?
Maybe.
That would be pretty cool too.
Would be a cool
and
Easter egg.
Speaking of Dark Pictures, by the time this episode releases, the final episode of season 1 is going to be out, called "The Devil in Me." We'll definitely be streaming that soon.
It's very exciting, but also the timing isn't great because you, Jim Banks, are going on your holiday trip and won't be able to play it right away.
Taking a short vacation.
I mean, we can wait. It's not the end of the world. Wait a week, right?
We can wait. Do you know,
I
Jim, if it
guess.
will be releasing with multiplayer functionality?
I do not know.
Because last time
But-
was very disappointing.
Oh, it didn't? You couldn't play it together?
No, the last one didn't release like initially with the multiplayer functionality.
The Quarry took like a month to have multiplayer.
Oh.
But the Quarry isn't technically part of the Dark Pictures anthology.
That is true.
Oh.
It looks like it says. I'm assuming that it's going to release with multiplayer. This article doesn't say it's going to be delayed. So
Heck yeah.
sweet. Who else has hot gaming news?
I do.
I got some... Oh, sorry, Johnny,
Vanessa
go
goes
ahead.
first. No, Vanessa. Ladies first.
Coming in December, everyone is super excited for the hottest new Christmas game, I Am Jesus Christ. Or perhaps it's called You Are Jesus
What?
Christ.
No.
It
You guys
is
hadn't heard of that before today when I sent it to you?
Jesus
No.
Simulator, the White Jesus game. In this game,
White Jesus.
you play as
It
White
looks
Jesus, and you go around performing miracles.
I watched the
And the
trailer. Go ahead, Jim.
I was gonna say in the trailer that I watched, it showed Jesus showing up to a wedding, and they're like, "We don't have any wine," and so Jesus turns the water to wine, and they're like, "This wine is better than the other wine we had." I can't tell if the game is parody or not.
Judging from the trailer,
don't
there's a
think it
lot of
is.
laying.
Although, like,
I don't know.
it showed Jesus healing someone, and you jump inside their body and like manipulate their blood cells. It's gotta be parody.
It doesn't have to
Well-
be. I mean, there are weird companies out there.
Yeah, I
Judging
read
from the-
that the creators consulted with a whole bunch of different Christian people. What people, I do not know.
It looks
All I
pretty
know
blasphemous.
Yeah, some people think that. What I'm most interested in is the trailer shows some kind of bar on the right-hand side of the screen that appears to be like a mana bar or an energy bar or a health bar. And I very much want to know how you fill the bar and what happens when the bar runs out. Like, is he just a normal guy then? Is it like
Does-
Okami when you lose all of your ink power?
Maybe you have to like do deeds for people so they'll pray to you, and that's like your prayer
Like
power
Okami.
meter.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get praise.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feed animals.
You give a bear a new sphere to roll on.
You moonwalk on the water.
You throw the money lenders out of the temple.
Yeah. You host
the
a big
blind.
feast.
Definitely do the curing of the blind. I'm positive you'll do some like walking on water.
You probably do some light carpentry.
Judging from the trailer, it basically is going to boil down to a first-person game where your magic hands do everything for you. You know, like there was a lot
It
of
also-
golden magic hands touching things
Yeah.
and things happening.
It seemed to show Jesus flying around too. Which is pretty
Yeah.
awesome.
That makes sense.
This sounds like a meme game. This does. I mean, that seems sacrilegious.
It does. It does.
Does it? Like, there's nothing preventing showing Jesus. They've done movies.
Right, but playing as Jesus, I think, is the part that is not so good. And a lot of movies will not show Jesus. It kind of depends, but a lot of times you'll see like a vague shape or something. They won't show his face. It depends on the person making it.
For sure, but we also have the Passion of the Christ. So like,
oh yeah.
This doesn't seem more transgressive than that, you know?
Yeah, you had the Last Temptation of Christ too, the Martin Scorsese movie.
Yeah, but that was deliberately naughty.
Yeah. That scene with Jesus flipping over the moneylender tables is still pretty dope, though.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that really... It's not very popular in our Calvinist society to be talking about flipping over the moneylender tables.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
But in my Hobbesian society, we love it.
God wants those people to have that money. They have the money because God loves them more.
All right, Chris Cameron.
That's what the Calvinists believe.
Yep, the stronger your faith, the more stuff you get.
I mean, isn't that just prosperity?
That's
Yeah.
prosperity.
Yeah.
Isn't that
And they're going to heaven
shit that's
regardless
been ruining
of what
this country
they do.
for a long time?
Mm-hmm.
Shit that's been ruining the world for a long time.
Isn't that a Calvinist belief that if you're like a male Calvinist and you're going to heaven no matter what you do if you're rich?
Wow.
I don't know exactly. I do think that it sort of came into vogue when people were doing a lot of union busting activity at the beginning of the 1900s. And they wanted the preachers to start having a message that the boss people were actually good, and you could tell because they're rich. And if you're rich, you're good, because God hands out riches.
All right. My piece of
John,
news.
what's your hot gaming news?
Sandwiches. The internet is aflame with critiquing the animation of a Pokemon trainer eating a sandwich, even though, if you ask me, it's one of the most delightful pieces of animation I've seen in a while. Have you seen
Can you
It's
share this
fantastic.
with the group? I haven't seen it.
No, it's so
Sure.
good, and it's avant-garde, and people can't handle it. Like,
Yep.
everyone's like, it's not very realistic. You know what? It's art. It's called art, and get over it.
Look it
Do you
up.
want to see someone eat a sandwich, or do you want to see a representation of an interaction with the concept of sandwich?
Yes, that is exactly what it is. Hold on, Matthew. I am bringing it
I want to
into
see it.
our chat. So yeah, now we will get live reactions to Jim and Matthew seeing this sandwich eating. All right, I posted it into the chat.
I love seeing sandwich eating.
That's not eating a sandwich.
That's amazing. Chomp. And she loves it, you know? And all of her Pokemon love it too.
It's a great time.
I think I could have animated that.
It does have a kind of Tim and Eric vibe to it. It's like,
Yeah, it
remember that Ace Combat cutscene where instead of like modeling a dog, they had a JPEG of a dog? It's a lot like that, and I love it. And now people are
It's
saying
intentional, though. Like, it must
Yeah.
be intentional. What it is, for listeners who can't see it, it's basically a three-dimensional animated head in front of a two-dimensional sandwich. And the head just moves in front of it and then closes its mouth. Like when you're doing that thing where you pretend to swallow something, so you just put it to the side of your head and show your profile, and then you're like, chomp, 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 chomp.
I bet it's the talk animation. That's my guess, that they're reusing the talk animation for that.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. It's perfect. No notes.
Yeah,
best thing I've ever
exactly.
seen.
People are saying that just because the Pokemon Company is basically the most profitable, I know there's some other anime thing that's up there too, one of the most popular or profitable entertainment things in the world, and makes gajillions of dollars, that they should be spending $1 billion on each game, make it an Ubisoft game with lavish production values, but instead they kind of keep a relatively small team with really tight production schedules, and this is the best they could come up with under those circumstances. And I don't know, do you really want an Ubisoft Pokemon? Because I don't think you do.
No.
I think that loses a lot.
I think it does too. I think that if you pay attention to the games, they tend to be critically acclaimed or at least very beloved. Every single one of them. So why would they want to change a thing? It doesn't make any fucking sense.
Mm-hmm. And
You should spend $1
restrictions
billion
invite
on it.
creativity.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
this is an amazing, creative, out-of-the-box solution that kind of brings in this surrealistic aspect to this Pokemon game. And I love it. I think it's perfect.
Mm-hmm. I think it's delightful. All right, Matthew, did you have any news?
No, I think that's 3. Let's keep it short.
I'll keep you short.
Thank you.
I am short.
I am not.
Hey, I have a level up.
Ooh.
What?
Oh.
That's not what we're talking about right now. We're talking about...
Short people.
Short people.
Yep.
I started playing a game just today called Somerville, which is on Game Pass, which is games like Limbo and Inside, like those adventure games, puzzlers. It's a new one of those by one of the guys who worked on Limbo. And I've only played like an hour of it so far, but it's pretty awesome. It's kind of like you're experiencing kind of like an alien invasion in real time. And it has you looking for your wife and son, traversing through a land that's I guess it's the United States. It seems like America that's being invaded by aliens. It's pretty cool.
I did really like
pretty fun
Limbo.
so far. Limbo is so cool. Limbo is one of my favorite games.
Inside
I haven't
was,
played Inside.
It was okay. You might enjoy it. I don't know.
I haven't
agree.
played that one yet, but
I agree with that sentiment. Limbo was pretty cool, and whatever. The first one was pretty cool, and Limbo was...
No,
Limbo
Inside.
had one of my favorite. Yeah, Limbo had one of my favorite endings probably in any game that I've played. So I'm excited to play Somerville. It looks really neat. I like the vibe of it so far. It's kind of like playing through War of the Worlds a little bit.
Y'all remember Braid? Can I interrupt your level up to talk about Braid? Y'all remember how Braid was like beloved and like a great puzzle platformer, and then you got to the end and realized it was all like a crazy misogynist rant?
Oh, was it? I never played
Crazy
that one.
fucking game that was.
You know Jonathan Blow, the guy who did The Witness, and I make fun of him a lot
that
because
guy.
he like has all these theories that the women's menstrual blood keeps them from being able to program, and it's biological.
That's what happens to me. Like, sometimes I go to play a video game and my hands are just so slippery from all the menstrual blood that I just squirt all over the room. Like, it gets on the controller.
No.
It mucks
Bleep
up
that
the
out.
works.
Oh,
like,
wait, I'm
it's
editing.
really difficult.
Vanessa, that's gonna be full of bleeps.
CW. Who else has a level up? Somebody else level up. John, you level up. I'm looking at John right now, so I'm saying John's name. John, you level up.
Oh, okay. Well, I have fallen into a pit. A pit
Oh, no.
that you might think is long dead. Remember Skylanders?
Yeah, Skylanders is great. That's
like
some
a Toy to
Spyro
Life
shit.
thing
Yeah,
by the people that made Star Control 2, my favorite game of all time.
and it started Spyro the Dragon.
Yeah. Ubisoft made sort of one like that, but it's more of a Wing Commander, and it came out in 2018, like way after this Toys to Life fad had kind of died. And no one bought it because 2018 was like a super packed year full of lots of great games. And even though this game got really good reviews, and the Switch version, I got the Switch version, comes with an R-Wing from Star Fox and a little Fox pilot. And it comes with this mount, and you put the pilot in, and then you put the R-Wing on top, and then you get all these different weapons, and they all have different effects and fire differently, and you click those onto the ship, and then and you can change them in real time, and you're playing, and it's really fun. It's actually like a good one of those games. Like, it's a good Wing Commander-y mixed with Ubisoft open world kind of game with fun character design, really inventive looking aliens. And so far, I mean, I'm a couple hours in. The world is really fun to explore. And all the toys are cheap, but you do have to like go to Facebook Marketplace or like eBay or Amazon to get the cheap ones. So I've been spending far too much time getting little plastic toys. I got a lot of a shipment of the Xbox version and the PS4 version, which I thought had different ships, but they don't. But it was so cheap, it was $10 each, that it comes with the ship, the pilot, and a copy of the game. So if anyone wants the PS4 version with a ship and a pilot, I will send it to you.
That's pretty cool. I had the Disney one, and it was okay. I got to do some Star Wars stuff.
Oh yeah, that one looked neat, and the Lego one looked really cool. Mm-hmm.
I was
amiibos,
so broke. Can't forget the amiibos.
When that whole Lego one came out, I was just making minimum wage, so I could not afford toys to life. That shit was expensive. But now that all this stuff is super discounted, I don't know.
What does it play like? Does it play like a Star Fox?
Yes. It's actually, the combat is really good. So, Matthew, I will send you this extra copy I have if you want to try it.
No, thank you.
I will send it to my nephew then.
I would love to play it. But I don't want toys. Thank you. Like, can I just play the game? What if I just want to play the game and not have toys?
It's in the States. It's super cheap digitally on PC, Xbox, or Switch, or PS4. You can just buy it for like $15. And it comes with
I don't hate the
all the
digital
pilots
toys idea, but
that
just ain't me. I don't have that. I'm not a collector. I don't want lots of little toys in my house.
I just think the toys just look really good. Like,
they do look cool.
They're just a nice toy. And the Star Fox one is super detailed, and the lights, when it's connected to the controller, there's lights on the back that turn on, and you take off the weapons and put different ones on. And that changes in the game. I like that. It's that kind of stuff.
It's a great idea, but it feels like something like I got the Disney ones because I thought my kids would be into it, and instead they just kind of like, all the Star Wars men lost their lightsabers. Obi-Wan may have lost his head.
Oh,
my kids were a little young for it, maybe.
Right? Yeah, because that was a few years ago. Anyway, so that's what I've been playing, and just even though I have it on Switch, I've been playing it on PC because the PC version was $10, and it looks like it's a graphically gorgeous game.
Wow!
Although the Switch version runs really well and is surprisingly one of the better looking, like that and Xenoblade are one of the better looking games I've seen on Switch. Especially with like that big of a world running nicely on Switch is really weird. I don't know how Ubisoft does it. It must be like resolution or something. Anyway, Vanessa.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
Oh, I did very many things. Frequent listeners may recall that on my last level up, I talked about how I went out, had a night out, got an anxiety attack, and had to come home. Well, this time I went out, had a night out, did not have an anxiety attack, and did a very good job of being a human out in the world.
And you never
went home. To a stand-up comedy show with James Acaster, who you may know from such shows as Hypothetical, Off Menu, the podcast, or Taskmaster.
Yay!
Yay! It was a good show. It was interesting. It's sort of about, it's called Heckler's Welcome, and it's about heckling and the vulnerability of being on stage and all that. I thought it was quite good. And I also watched a few movies. I watched Orphan First Kill, which we've talked about on this show plenty of times.
Please talk about it,
though. It was okay. I was not on board with it until, like, the third act twist, and then I was on board with it, but also didn't think they quite took that far enough in an interesting direction. Definitely.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
What about the end when it showed scenes from Orphan, the original Orphan, and for some reason she looks much younger, even though this is a prequel?
Yeah, the thing about that actress is she is a woman.
Yeah, she's
and
a
it's a very
25-year-old woman.
clear that she's a woman. Like when they show her face, it's like, oh, there's a woman, and then they'll do a long shot and she's short. You're like, okay, she's a very short woman, but I never quite bought her as a child.
Have you seen anything about that Celine Dion movie made in France where this 50-year-old actress is playing a child Celine Dion?
Yes, but I think that that's like intentional in a weird way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm not smart enough or French enough to understand what they're doing and what it means.
I think you are exactly smart enough and French enough to understand. Sometimes people try things and it just doesn't quite work out. Mm-hmm. I also watched a movie called Enola Holmes 2.
Ooh, how was it?
All right. It's kind of like I'm a grown-up and it's not marketed towards me, but it was fine. And I watched a movie with my friend Jim in a virtual simultaneous viewing experience called Smile. Mm-hmm. And I liked it. Did it
make you smile?
It did make me smile. I felt like it had a couple of instances where it relied on jump scares, and I don't think the movie needed that. I think it would have been a better, more interesting movie if it had just kind of been about what it's about. But yeah, it's good. It's on Paramount Plus, and I recommend it. That's everything I did.
Some parts of the movie had Vanessa and I both typing into the chat,
yeah.
Some parts were just very intense.
Mm-hmm. There's one part that did upset me very much. I don't want to give away any spoilers, but there is a character death that I didn't see coming and did not enjoy.
But oh my gosh, that entire scene when that happens is such an anxiety-inducing nightmare.
It was an anxiety-inducing nightmare. Also has the actor who plays A-Train in The Boys, and unfortunately I don't know his name off the top of my head. To my shame.
Not Matt Bloom, who played A-Train the wrestler.
No, it's not Matt Bloom who played A-Train the wrestler. His name, bear with me.
His name is Jesse T. Usher.
Jesse T. Usher. Playing kind of a jerk guy, I thought. So it was interesting to see him not in the A-Train role, which is, I think, the only other thing I've seen him in.
Yeah, me too. It also starred Kyle Gallner, who was in the most recent Scream movie. And Sosie Bacon is the star of it, and she's Kevin Bacon and Kira Sedgwick's daughter.
Is she?
She is.
I didn't pick up on that.
Mm-hmm. Following in her father's footsteps, starting out in horror.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the true end of my report. I mean, I could go on and on about my great time out and seeing this great show, but I won't because it's sold out everywhere, and I think the American tour's over now anyway. So, too bad, suckers. You missed it.
Yes, suckers.
Yeah. Matt?
I have two things to talk about. Number one, and I'm very sorry, but I need to talk about the third season of Star Trek Enterprise. Some things that I want to talk about. Number one, can you believe that they have continued to stick with this terrible song for the entire show? What is happening? How can you have a show?
It's been a long time.
How can you have a Star Trek show and not have the Star Trek theme? And how can you continue doing it? And it's butt rock, and it's the worst. It's terrible. I've been watching Star Trek Enterprise Season 3, which is when the UPN decided that the show needed to be one long season and not like one season long story and not episodic, which is frustrating. And the arc that they went with is What If 9/11? Which is weird. Definitely the first Star Trek show I've watched where the Star Trek captain is torturing people and is like, but so many lives are at stake, this is justified. It's fucked up. I don't like it. It's not good.
I don't like that. Boo.
The premise is that at the end of season 2, some aliens shot a laser beam through Central Florida down through Venezuela and killed millions of people. And the Star Trek crew has to go stop them from killing the rest of the planet. And so the whole season is the Star Trek crew on this mission to, and it very much feels like a 9/11 allegory, which makes sense because it came out in 2003. And it really legitimately does feature a lot of Scott Bakula as the captain, straight up torturing prisoners and robbing other ships of their components because they need them, even though the basically is a death sentence for those ships. But again, it's totally justified because 9/11. I mean, what do they call it? The killing of Florida. It's fucking wild, gang. And not in a good way. It's bad. But I keep hearing that season 4 is really great. So I've decided to push through, basically by keeping it running even when I'm not paying attention or in the room. But, Star Trek Enterprise Season 3. Why did I watch this show? Why did I ever start watching Star Trek to start with? I blame John and Vanessa, and I'm not happy about it.
I didn't do anything. I barely like Star Trek.
You mostly like Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, we like Deep Space Nine.
Well, I like original and Next Gen, but I have terrible taste.
Next Gen is fantastic. Thing 2 is that I've been playing a new game. You've all heard of it. You all know I'm playing it because I'm playing it all the time on my Xbox. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Can I give you a hint?
PUBG?
I'm going fast. Gotta go fast. Gotta go so fast.
Speed.
Yeah.
Speed
the game.
Yeah.
I think I messaged the group Saturday morning and was like, somebody please stop me from buying Sonic Frontiers. And nobody responded to me, so guess what I did?
I was probably sleeping.
I was probably sleeping.
Sonic Frontiers. And you know what?
Yay!
It's fun, though.
No, that's good.
So Sonic Frontiers, for anybody that's curious, is what if Sonic the Hedgehog games was just ripping off Breath of the Wild as hard as it possibly could.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make it good?
Kinda, because definitely it's a big world that you get to run around in as Sonic, and they definitely stuffed it full of springboards and zoom pads and loop-de-doos and rocket swings and all Sonic stuff. So, imagine if Breath of the Wild was a constant fun traversal game where you were like, yay, I love zooming through this stupid world. But everything is mini-gamified, and everything is locked behind a certain number, which is one of the most... It's every game does this, where you need a certain amount of this to get to here, or you need to... But this game does it to an extreme that I've never seen in a game before, where if you want to talk to somebody, you better have enough hearts collected, and you better collect enough keys to open the gates to get the Chaos Emeralds, which you also have to collect so that you can fight the monsters, which you get gears from. It's crazy. Everything you walk up to will have a number above it and a number and a symbol, and it's you need this many of this to interact with this part of the world. It's bizarre, but it's fun. I bought it because I really wanted to play something that I could just zone out and play and not have to think too hard about. And it's that, for sure. It's fun. Sonic goes fast. Do y'all know that Sonic goes fast?
I've heard.
It's got an interesting concept. It's not interesting. It's a rip-off concept. They basically have the shrines from Zelda, except they're cyberspace shrines. And you go into cyberspace, where you basically do a classic Sonic level, where you just have to go very fast in the right direction and jump at the right time to get through it. And they're delightful, and I love them, and it's fun. It's weird because it's cheap and a knockoff, and it's so inside baseball that it's almost overwhelming. But I also think that it's fun as heck. So, Sonic Frontiers, everybody, gotta go fast. Get those Chaos Emeralds. You know what I mean?
I like
fought the
Tails
first-
better than Sonic.
Yeah, you only get to play as Sonic in this. I think Tails is going to show up. So far, it's only been Amy, which is great.
Apparently, Big's in it.
I like the Sonic characters a lot. Big the Cat, Jim, duh.
Wow.
Duh. Come on, he likes fishing, and he's really
fucking obsessed with the Sonic
slow.
Adventure.
Is that like Nermal?
No.
Oh.
He's like the opposite of Nermal, really. He's not... Well, he's big and dumb.
More like a Garfield than a Nermal.
No, he's... I don't know. I'm trying to think of what character.
More like
Not
a
every
John.
cat is Garfield or
How
Nermal,
dare
Jim.
you.
Every personality can be boiled down into two. It's a binary thing. You're
I guess
either
he's
a
more like-
Garfield or a Nermal.
He's more of an Odie.
Yeah,
That's
for
not
sure.
part of it.
All of
Yeah.
Sonic's
That's
friends
not
are
part of it.
Odies. They all just love being your fucking friend more than anything else on this planet. And this game does not stray from that. There's an Eggman Doctor. There's weird new characters. Anyway, it's, you know what? I like it a lot. I think it's fun. It's not a 10 out of 10 or anything, but it's a good, fun game that I've been playing. And I think that y'all should all play it with me. And that
No.
includes the listeners. Everybody play Sonic. I know.
Like-
I don't even know why I'm still playing Sonic games. But it's scratching that itch that I was looking for. It's perfect for me right now. Just some like light platforming, and it's not hard. I fought the first big boss of the game, and it is legitimately the size of a skyscraper, and you have to like run up and down it. And that was pretty fun. And of course, everybody knows that the classic Sonic bit is that he goes Super Saiyan, but they call it Supersonic when he collects all the Chaos Emeralds. And the big first boss fight was you literally flying around just punching the shit out of this fucking enormous monster. And like, you know, a lot of games have done enormous monsters, but this thing is quite literally the size of a goddamn skyscraper. And the fact that you're able to just fly around it and punch it was fucking delightful. It was fun as shit. What a great game. But again, big old Zelda
Sonic-
ripoff. Go ahead.
I thought his
please.
whole thing was that he likes chili cheese dogs.
No, that's just from the cartoon. That's not the game. That's not from the games.
And the movies.
Yeah, in the movies, yeah, that's for sure. I don't know if it's. I have not actually played a Sonic game in a while, so I don't know if this is a new voice cast, but they sound new to me, and they all sound fucking weird, which is strange. But it's fun. I'm enjoying the shit out of it. It's a Sonic game. It's the best Sonic game I've played in a while. It's doing everything. But again, weirdly big Breath of the Wild ripoff. Like, definitely, like, you collect little dudes and then go turn them over to a man so that he'll boost up your stats. Like, it's strange. But it's good. And that's how I leveled up.
I consider myself to be a collector of little dudes, but I don't turn them over to anyone.
The little birds, and they're cute. And every time, you know how you have the like standing animation in most games, but Sonic was always like the tap and he like looked at you.
Uh-huh.
But now when you put your controller down and walk away, when you come back, there's a million little burbs around him and they're all squawking. It's fucking weird. But it's fun, it's cute. It's a cute, fun fucking Sonic game, and it's the most fun Sonic game to play that I've played in a long time. And I've tried a few of them. Not all of them. Also, I don't know if Jim and Vanessa want to know this, but that Double Inside game is now available.
Oh,
Sweet.
Jim and I actually have to go.
I actually do have to go.
No, Jim, we were denied your request. I think that
No, I have to. I have to pack on my clothes.
Make Jay do it. That's what she's for.
Yeah, that's what girls are for.
Wow.
It's vacation time. Bye. I'm going on vacation.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, well, we have to talk about our new favorite game. It's probably the next 5 out of 5 at the very top of the next year's ranking episode list. That's right. Xeno babies.
Xeno.
This is a
Blade Chronicles.
semi-sequel to Xenogears, but it's about baby versions of the Xenogears.
Is it? What's your experience with the Xeno series? We know that you've played Xenogears.
Mm-hmm. I played Xenoblade on the Wii, or it must have been the Wii. Is that what it came out on?
Yep.
Yeah. And I hated the controls, and I was not enamored with the weird setting and weird stuff that was going on. So
I like the Wii,
like an
but
hour.
I don't like playing normal games on the Wii. Like that, though, using the Wiimote for anything other than like a Wii Sports or a Zack and Wiki, it's too crappy.
I agree. So that's it. I played a few hours of it max on the Wii and I bounced off of it. So, What about you, John? We all know you've played Xenoblade 2 to completion.
That's true.
So you must have played this game before.
Not when I bought it on Switch, I played it for about 10 hours. But that was only like 6 months ago. So that is my history with this game. I also have it on 3DS, and I've been playing that a little bit just to sort of see. It's interesting that it's the same game. Like the cutscenes are the same. It's just one looks pretty and one does not look pretty.
Are you playing? Can I ask you? Are you playing it now on? Are you playing it handheld or on the television? I've only played it on handheld, and I don't think this game is pretty.
I think this game is gorgeous. In both handheld and on the TV.
I think it looks pretty good.
I have not played it on the TV, so I wonder if it looks better. I mean, I'm sure it does, because everything will be up-resed, right? So it should look nicer. But playing it on the handheld, it doesn't look bad, but I don't think it looks great. Like, it looks okay.
I think these games have the nicest, other than Nintendo game. Well, this is a Nintendo game. Other than Mario and stuff, this is some of the nicest graphics I think I've seen on Switch. Vanessa, what's your history with the Xenoblade series?
I keep thinking that we're playing Xenogears, and then people keep telling me we already played that. Mm-hmm. I believe that is my only experience with any kind of Xeno franchise.
Okay. And it's the same creator, but it's not really, only some thematic links. There's no story connections between this game and that.
Like a Final Fantasy?
Yeah, sort of. Like Xenosaga was the middle series that is very hard to... I don't know if there'll ever be a re-release of those, because I think that'd be an interesting one to play. But that's a completely separate series, too. However, there's thematic stuff. Each Xenoblade game is more like Final Fantasy, where there are like character types and certain creatures that are common between each Xenoblade game, but they're kind of on different worlds.
Sounds like Final Fantasy to me.
That's like Final Fantasy, except there is a narrative link between all the games. Like, so even though there are on different worlds, there is some continuity threads between them.
Like it all takes place in the same galaxy?
It's a super spoiler, so I can't really go into how they link.
It can't.
But they are linked.
They can't be too connected due to legal reasons, right? Like they can't outright be like, "Yeah, this is Xenogears."
The Xenoblade games are all connected. That's what I'm saying.
Whoa.
And they're all owned by Nintendo, so it's all, they can do whatever they want with them.
Oh, so they're like Final Fantasies. They're all different. So the sequel is not set on the giant men.
Exactly, it's different, but it's connected. There is a plot connection between Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3.
You mentioned that they shared characters.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's spoiler stuff that connects them. But it's really, that's sort of tangential, and only if you played it. You can play each of these games in isolation and not having played the other ones. So yeah, this is a Vanessa first, and we're all playing on Switch. It is available on Wii, 3DS, and Switch. And I believe we're all playing on Switch.
Correct.
Right.
I didn't know it was on the 3DS, and I find that bizarre. It does seem too big for the 3DS.
Yeah, I've been playing the 3DS version along with the Switch version in the past week.
What?
Just
What?
for fun. Just to see the differences. I don't know. I like that kind of stuff.
It's like double the work.
Yeah, but I don't know. I like this game. And so it's interesting seeing how, like, they have not changed the animation for the cutscenes. So the cutscenes are the same. They're shot for shot and movement identical. It's just one has good graphics and one does not. It's very weird. Anyway, so let's start. Let's dive into, I don't believe there's like a journal. I think it's just called like Quest Journal or something, right? So we start with the Battle of Sword Valley. Well, first a little explanation of the history of the world, that there were these two, like we've talked about, Vanessa said in the opening, there's two big old thing, like land masses that are humanoid that are locked in a battle, and they stabbed each other and then froze in place, and that's where this world is, or that's where life takes place on this world. And you are on Bionis, and it's all overgrown now. And we start, I don't know where we are. I guess somewhere on the leg, right? Because we go to the knee.
It would be cool if there was a world map that just like showed the dude.
Mm-hmm. And it starts a year ago. And there was a big battle between Homs, the humans, and the Mechons, the attacking mechanical beasts. And Dunban, he's a himbo with waterfalls hair, is the big hero.
Homs, by the way. Okay. Homs.
He's the big ol' hero with the sword. It's this red Phantasy Star looking sword that with a glowy blade.
Yeah, it's okay. So does the Monado carry over between games, or is the Monado specific to this game? And I don't mean can you get it as a weapon at one point. I mean, is it also the only sword that your main character has in Xenoblade 2?
No, it's not in Xenoblade 2 at all, as far as I know.
It's interesting. It's an interesting concept. It looks kind of like an engine piece. Mm-hmm. And in actuality, it is a lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. But with different modes.
Something about the name Monado really makes me think of like a classic car, which is really weird for your magic sword.
Yeah, because there's like the Holden Monero, and then there's also like the Malibu, the Camaro. Yeah, it does have a very car-sounding name. And they also say the word Monado about 5,000 times in this chunker.
It's strange.
They do not believe in using pronouns in this game. It's always the Monado.
Yeah. It's cool though. It's definitely like a big lightsaber that you use to smash stuff. So I like that.
And it's got these different symbols. I don't know if the symbols are Japanese. It's just like a glyph, right? And I don't know if it's like a Japanese character.
Like a kanji. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say, it does show you the body and where you are on it, I think, as you traverse between areas.
Oh,
because
really?
You start at the bottom of the leg, maybe the foot. And then you climb, like this chunker ends at the knee.
Yes. Okay, that would make sense if you're going up.
Yeah, I've been really wondering, will we go down the other leg first? Will we go up to one of the arms? Where are we going to go next? It's this setting of the landmass being two giant corpses is really fucking weird. It's strange.
I like it.
Yeah, I think it's neat. So
I don't think
Vanessa,
I do. I think it's weird.
What do you think of a Dunban? He does look like a Vagrant Story guy.
Yeah, he's just kind of like he felt kind of generic to me, you know?
Don't go chasing
Like, he's just
waterfalls.
the hero kind of anime guy kind of guy.
Mm-hmm. And he's got his two buddies, Claus McTired Eyes and Commander Mustache. And
Claus McTired Eyes pretty immediately reveals himself to be like a bad guy, dumb guy.
Well, he does sort of talk like a sneering villain from the beginning, like, is that what you're going to do?
He's like, heh, and then he turns away, like, does an aside to the audience, and he's like, as soon as these two are distracted, I'm going to go AWOL and run away from this battle.
They talk to him like they're all BFFs, but this dude is not cool.
Yeah, he's not into it. He does sound like Skeletor. And Commander Mustache, he's like a blonde guy with long blonde hair. I believe that guy's name is Dixon.
Yeah, maybe. He also has waterfalls, but he's blonde instead of dark-haired. And has a sweet mustache. He kind of looks like Solid Snake, to be honest with you.
Yeah. So there's a huge attack, and they're sort of running to the front lines because you see all these other humans getting totally massacred by these robots. They're just like splurting and squashing and chomping and slicing. But then Dunban and his friends come in, and Dunban's got this magic sword. Well, it's not magic; it's technology, but it can kill these bad guys instantly and slice through them. And so that's sort of the opening, is going through there and slicing and fighting, and it seems like they're going to win.
Hang on,
and
they are fighting these robots. And it's worth pointing out here that the robots are not just killing the humans, they are eating them. Chomp, chomp, chomp on the fucking
delicious.
humans.
They're
It's some Attack on Titan shit.
Oh, okay. This came out around the same time, right? Or is it
I'm not saying
that was probably a manga first?
I don't know, but that's not. I'm just saying it's very similar. But these are robots. But they definitely are picking dudes up and chomping down on them.
But
are they like masticating them, or is that just how they're
Yes.
eliminating them?
Are they
They
reapering
seem to
them
be
and turning
eating
them into a
and
mush?
later on, they definitely talk about, like, one of them definitely talks about having humans in its belly. So, like, they're eating them.
Delicious.
That's fucking. This game's weird.
So Claus McTired Eyes seizes the moment and does not join in the fight with Commander Mustache and Duncan, and does run away. And as he runs away, Dunban's like, "Don't go that way," and he runs into a bunch of laser sights. And it's I don't know. That's it. That's all you get to know about that fight. Fade out and fade in on a dragonfly, a very pretty dragonfly.
Yeah.
An idyllic pasture.
1 year later.
It doesn't say that, does it?
Yep.
Does it? Huh.
They at least mentioned it. I don't know if there's like I think there is an on-screen caption that says it's a year later.
I've been wondering what the time frame was, so I was wondering if you picked that up from like a guide or if.
Oh, also
I picked it up from Johnny when he said during the podcast earlier that this opening scene was a year ago.
Yeah. We should also mention during the fight, Dixon is telling Dunban to go easy because his body can't handle. It seems like the Monato's draining him. Right? And it's like giving him like nasty little veins on his face.
I thought it was giving him like kind of like fantasy radiation poisoning.
Yeah, something like that. And he just couldn't quite handle it. So cut to a year later, and we meet our protagonist for the game. The real protagonist for the game. She-Hulk. Yes.
She-Hulk.
Or Shulk for short. And
Or Shulk for short. Yes, that's fine.
He's a real blonde boy.
He's tall and green.
He's a Chaz from Phantasy Star 4.
Down with Daredevil.
Or who's the one from Rogue Galaxy? Storp. He's a real Storp from Rogue Galaxy.
Storp?
I don't remember what the name of the main character. But he's kind of that blonde JRPG protagonist that you get in a lot of sci-fi games, like your Enchanted Arms, your Star Oceans. He feels I feel he's more generic than Dunban.
He is. He's definitely like a Van, like Final Fantasy XII's Van.
Vaughn.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing.
My name is
So
Van.
Vaughn / She-Hulk is sitting there trying to get some pieces. He's like a salvager. He's trying to get some pieces that they need from these wrecked mechons that they found. And one starts moving, and his friend Rain. So I'd say that Shulk is a twink dum-dum, while I get major himbo energy from Rain. What do you think, Vanessa?
Yeah, I don't think that Shulk is that dum-dum necessarily.
Yeah, he's actually
just
pretty
kind
smart.
of. Yeah, he's
like a scientist.
He's clever, I think. Yep. But yeah, his friend is just like his dumb buff friend for sure.
Mm-hmm. He's like, hey, let's get some fighting on. It's Rain time.
The voice acting in this game is fucking fantastic, and we got to call it out here because Rain is amazing, and I love him. And he's got a Cockney accent. And I love the way he talks, and also at one point I got a headpiece for him that gave him little horns on the side of his head, and I put them on in the costume, and I'll never take them off.
And Vanessa's figured out that there is like a glamour system where if you don't like the look of the armor you're currently wearing, you can unlock some like cosmetic armor. I saw Vanessa did immediately put Shulk in a bathing suit.
Yeah, I immediately put all of the male characters in bathing suits.
This game,
and that's
this
how
whole
they
series
will stay.
Is very popular with women, and I will say it feels like it objectifies the men and women equally. And I like it. I think that's great. I think more games should be that openly free for all. Just sleaze on who you want to sleaze on. And they're all adults, too, so that helps.
If you're going to be a sleaze game for everybody.
Exactly. It just needs a big bear
nipples,
and a Speedo.
I will say.
Oh.
So that's like a little bit disturbing, but maybe it's a plot point that I haven't gotten to.
Yeah. What about your nipples? The Monado has given you nipples, Shulk. So you fight this what they're worried is a mechon, because they are not prepared to fight a mechon, but it was a Crabble that was using the mechon as a shell. It was really cute, actually. I like the Crabbles.
Yeah, it was cute, and then they beat it up for no reason.
Well, I think it was trying to attack them. So that is one thing within the Xenoblade games is all the enemy types are consistent. So there's Crabbles, there's Bunnets. They're in all the games. The Skeeters.
I have a hard time seeing these.
Well, it's interesting because you can play this game like totally zoomed out. You can play it first person, which I do not recommend because the camera's like a foot off the ground for some reason.
You can change the camera?
Yeah, you can zoom in and out if you hold down like ZL or ZR and then move the stick forward and back.
I'll try that.
So
that'll help.
Yeah, because then you can, if you do first person, you do get a good view, but it's not the way you're supposed to be playing the game because you're supposed to be like dodging and getting to the side of enemies and stuff. That's a big part of the mechanics of this game.
It plays just like Final Fantasy XII.
Well, except I don't think Final Fantasy XII had that positional stuff, did it?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It does. It is very similar to Final Fantasy XII, but John's right that the movie, like getting behind and to the side of things, that's kind of all I've been doing.
Yeah, because there are attacks that specifically are better from behind or from the side or whatever it may be.
And also, like, there's, I think the skill combos of, break to topple to daze and to launch and all that. We haven't got all of them yet, so you can't really follow through on the combo. But it does require that the AI does follow through, which it'll only do if it's targeting the same character as you are. So because it doesn't all like if you start a fight and there's a bunch of enemies, you'll notice like Rain might be fighting someone else, and then it's usually you can tell them, hey, focus on my target. That way that you can get the combo follow throughs.
Well, we're not going to run into that until the end
Later.
of this chunker.
Yeah.
So far, at this point in the game, you see monsters on the field, you target them, you start a fight with them, or
You can still topple
they
them.
target you, and then you have to realize that they've targeted you and start a fight with them before your characters will start attacking.
Well,
because
it helps
your characters
if
will
you have the sound
auto-attack.
on.
They just kind of sit, and
Yeah.
you just kind of sit there, and your Shulk does just kind of whack at the monster. And you have a couple of, at this point, you have a couple of skills, and you've got a bar. Like, it's a lot like an MMO, which I guess we should just say, because a lot of this game feels like a single player MMO.
And Dragon Age and stuff work the same way too.
It's very similar, yes. Where you're just kind of using the moves on your bar and moving your guy around so that you can get that side hit and that backstab. It is interesting that your main character is a rogue. Your biggest move is backstab, which is fun.
And you can switch characters at any time. So if you want to play the tank or the healer next chunker,
I can't seem
you
to
can
do
definitely
that in combat, which
You
would
can-
make it fine.
I thought you could.
I
but
can't seem to
maybe
fucking
it's
do it.
3. Yeah, because you definitely cannot in 2. And I know you can in 3. And I feel like that makes the combat better, is switching between the characters.
Yeah, again, we'll get into that when we get into chapter 2, I guess. So we shouldn't talk too much about it yet. But at this point, it's just kind of auto attack and a couple of skills. It feels a lot like Dragon Age, but anime Dragon Age.
Yeah. And yeah, Vanessa's right. It does have a lot of Final Fantasy 12 to it with like the you can see who it's targeting because of the lines that get drawn and then the circle around whoever the enemy's attacking and the point. You're supposed to be getting Rain to move the circle. Anyway, so yeah, you walk back to the colony. You found some parts that you want to bring back. You go to the lab and you see Duncan is there. Or not Duncan.
Dunban? Dunban.
Dixon. Is it Dixon?
Oh, Dixon.
Or is it another
you're
guy
right.
with a
Dixon
mustache?
is there.
Yeah, and then there's
Yes,
also
it's
Sergeant
Dixon.
guy who seems like he's going to be a big character until he's not. The yelly British Sergeant. Oh, everyone's English because this game was translated. Oh yeah, we should talk about the history of that. Were you aware of the whole Project Rainfall thing?
No.
Maybe. I vaguely remember this. Did it not? It came out in Europe first, right?
Yeah, first it was just going to be a Japanese only game because Nintendo was like, this isn't a game that Americans would care about, or but then Nintendo of Europe was like, actually, yeah, we'll translate it. So it was translated in England and Spain and stuff. So it had all the European translations, but it was not released in North America. But there was a big like write-in campaign organized to get all these 3 RPGs released on Wii that had not been released. Last Story, Xenoblade Chronicles, and Pandora's Tower? Or I can't remember something Pandora. And they all eventually did come out because of this like community-based campaign.
That's cool.
And
That's pretty cool.
yeah, and it was a surprise hit for Nintendo. Like it did much, much better than they thought they would. I think partly because of the sort of 2 years that it took to actually get a release here.
Yeah, that builds hype.
Yeah, exactly. And now it is, I think, especially after showing up at Smash Brothers, like Beach Boy Shulk, like one of his skins is him in his bathing suit, is a Smash character that is, kind of a meme now, fighting with the Monado, and I think that helped bring a lot of notice. And Xenoblade 2 sold really well, so that the series is now a big seller, comparatively, not like Mario's style, but still a relatively big seller for Nintendo.
Do you think that having less emphasis on physical media has allowed for more games to be released that might otherwise not be in the West?
I don't know. I think it's good for like the weird, like it definitely has helped sort of those niche Japanese games, like the really weird ones, have more access because they don't have to find a physical publisher and print games and potentially lose money on that. They can just kind of release it
I don't really know why I asked that question, but thank you for answering.
No problem.
I just want to say, as somebody that used to listen to a ton of audiobooks, the English version is always better. And Nintendo, just get everything done through Europe first. Like, this sounds so fucking good. I love the voice acting in this game.
Oh, you mean like English?
I hate the dialogue. Yeah, like the English accent English.
Like an Englishman.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's delightful because they all have accents. And I love it.
Yes. You know, I'm something of an Anglophile myself these days.
I've heard that.
And I agree.
So you head back to the lab and they start talking about the design of the Monado and how it can only be controlled by Dunban. But it has hurt him. Cut to... and also, at this point, Dixon's like, you need to take a break, Shulk. Shulk, why don't you go have some lunch? I'll get Fiora over. So cut to Dunban sitting in bed, like his arm is super bothering him. It's obviously very painful, but he sees Fiora walk up those stairs, and he does pretend that he's just like laying there all nonchalantly. I really like the animation there. It's just like, hey.
And he's like, sup? What's up?
And she's like, do you want me to spoon feed you? He's like, no, I can eat. Don't worry about it. Why don't you go give some food? Is that his sister?
It is, which was not readily apparent. I took them to be a romantic couple. And then later she said something sort of indicating she was interested in Blondie Boy, Shulk.
Right.
And I was quite shocked until I realized
they do live in the same house.
Dunman's sister. Sometimes brothers and sisters live in the same house.
Yeah, especially in like fantasy stories and stuff.
No, in real life too. I've seen it happen.
No, I haven't.
No, never.
My brother.
Never.
I don't think so, Matt. Yeah.
So Fiora says, "Okay, fine. I will go deliver this delicious looking stew over to She-Hulk." So she leaves, and then Dunban cannot feed himself very well. His arm,
he's like,
ouchie, painful.
Ouchie, ouchie.
Mm-hmm.
Poor guy. Should have let your sister spoon feed you.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's proud and does not want to worry her. So cut to now you're now in control of Fiora. So I recommend at this point to really concentrate on what skills are you going to equip Fiora with. Maybe go to the store and buy like the most expensive items to put on Fiora. You really want to think about your Fiora build, right?
Yeah. She's obviously the real main character of the game. And I am delighted to grind her up as high as I can.
Yeah,
and you
great.
can.
And
you can
I definitely
do
put
lots
her in a
of
bathing
mini-quests.
suit immediately, which was a great idea.
Isn't she like all the women in this game are wearing like hot pants, right?
Nah,
Actually, I don't remember what her outfit is.
Changes a lot, you know? Like, I'm constantly changing, so it's kind of...
Yeah.
I don't think of any of them in a specific outfit, to be honest with you.
That's
Except
true.
for
She does have
Fiora,
some long pants
who I
you can
definitely
put on her.
put into a bikini.
So
Matt, that's so
you also-
objectifying.
No.
you also get at this point with Colony 9, which is the town that they live in, you get a good sense of first the geographic location. Like the Xenoblade series is renowned for its really huge levels and really interesting level design. And Colony 9 is sort of built on these air defense things. There's like it's got like a 3-point spire, and each spire has an air cannon on anti-air attack cannon. And you also get to level up towns by doing quests for the townspeople and just talking to the townspeople. If you talk to a named character, they get added to like your list of people and you develop relationships. So you want to talk to every single named character in the town. They show up as green dots on the map.
Mm-hmm. All the time. And there's lots of side quests to do, which at first started to irritate me, but then I realized that they basically auto-complete.
Yeah,
so
and you
of them will
don't
be
have
like,
to
please
do
go
them.
kill a monster. And you can accept that and then just kill it when you're out in the field, and it will be like, you did it, complete.
And they don't just give you one, like, especially for the kill the monster. If it's a kill the monster quest, they'll give you like 4 at a time.
Yeah.
And you can keep talking to them and get more. But depending on, this game does have selectable difficulty, which still feels kind of rare in a JRPG, doesn't it?
It is, yeah.
If you are playing on casual, I don't think you need to concentrate on doing all these side quests unless you want to. Because some of them are just these they're like, I misplaced my watch. Could you find it? Or could you get me 3 bear farts?
Mm-hmm.
Or
so far, I've been accepting them all, but not going out of my way to complete them.
I spent an hour.
If I happen to pick up the thing they want, then I pick it up, and if I don't, I don't.
If you do like concentrate on doing it, you'll realize like as soon as you've done a couple, there 5 more appear. Like there are hundreds and hundreds of quests in this game. Unless you really want to 100% the game, which is a totally valid option, but that will make this game hundreds of hours. Like if you really
I have
done with that.
Every available side quest in Colony 9. Every available side quest in Tefra Cave. Every available side quest in Colony 6. Every available side quest on the Bionis Link. Also, are you guys collecting and finishing your Collectopedias?
I haven't even.
I don't like this game.
Collectopedia.
It's not very good. 2 out of 10. Don't recommend.
Then why are you doing all these side quests?
I don't know.
Just to enrage himself.
Yep.
It definitely every single side quest is go get this thing, and sometimes it's go get this thing and then take it to this person. And now that I'm 20 hours into the game, it's go get this thing and take it to this person and then bring it to this person and then go have a conversation with this person and then go back to this person. Some of them are long.
Yeah, it seems like some of them, the ones that are just generic fetch quests, kind of just finish as soon as you pick up the item. It just says quest completed. But there's story ones that do have like cutscenes and stuff associated with them. And it doesn't tell you which is which. Like it's not like this is a long side quest. This is just a generic pick up a thing side quest.
So far, my experience is that none of the quests are rewarding. Even when they do have a shitload of story and dialogue, it is always nonsense. I need this thing because I really need it, and I'll repeat that in 4 different ways. Great. I'll get you this thing because I'm a great person. I'll repeat that 4 different ways. Great. Let's go get that thing.
I put a little section at the end to talk about quests we want to talk about because I found at least one in Colony 9 that I do want to talk about that's pretty fun.
Okay. I don't have any. I did not. I thought I did them, but I don't know why. Something is compelling me. Something evil. Mm-hmm. Also, Collectopedia.
Yep.
I have 100% in Colony 9. I have 100% in Tefra Cave. I have 100% in Bionis Lake.
That sounds like something Vanessa would do.
I don't know what's wrong.
Yeah, that sounds like crazy Vanessa talk.
Mm-hmm. I'm playing this. Even if I did spend an hour doing quests just because I was like, oh, I'll do some quests. I was like, so many showed up by the end that I realized I will just kind of do them whenever I feel like grinding.
I'm playing the game on normal, and I think that it might be the fear, because when I tried to fight things that are even remotely close to my level, they beat the shit out of me.
If they're named, that usually happens.
I mean, it tells you their level, so you can see what their level is before you even attack them, which is nice. Though even the starting area has level 75 and up monsters in some spots, which is fuck you. I'm level 5.
That is a thing that is constant in the Xenoblade games, that there is always going to be like a level 80 monster walking around. And you got to stay the heck. I think it's kind of to teach you that you don't want to fight everything. Xenoblade 2 overdoes it, where the first zone has 6 or something of them, and they will fight you. I died like dozens of times trying to get into Xenoblade 2 because I just kept getting attacked by those things.
I'm not sure how I feel about the fights, not the combat system, but the way combat is initiated in this game, where you do run by most monsters. If you stop to fight every monster between you and your path, you would never stop. Mm-hmm. There are hundreds of these things walking around, but they're all easily avoided.
Yeah.
So I do all these side quests and stuff just because, like, I don't want to get party wiped.
Yeah. There is
It's not even very
in the
punishing.
next
It just kind
chunker.
of throws you back.
Yeah. This game like you keep all your levels and stuff, so it's really not too bad. But there's a boss midway through the next chunker that is level 18, I think, and if you are not level 18, you will die.
I'm like level 25 now.
Oh, wow. You're fine.
I think I
but
probably already got through
that's next chunker. You'll also notice enemies have little icons. There's one that's an eye. That means that if they see you, they are going to attack you. And one
But they're
that's
also colored.
yeah, I don't know what the color means.
The
I should
ones
go look
that,
in the
so
tutorials.
I've definitely noticed that like the gray eyes, they don't attack you. You can
I
just
wonder
fucking
if
walk right
it's
by them.
because I know that these games have a
You
thing
can walk a
where
circle around them. But
if
if it's
they're
red, they will
much
fucking
lower,
attack you.
if they're much lower level than you, they just leave you alone. They aren't
Maybe
gonna
that's what
attack
it
you.
is.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
that's
bet
what it is.
it.
That
And
makes
probably
sense.
red is like
I mean, that's great.
their higher
I consider
level.
that good design.
Yeah,
Right there.
you can still attack them if you want to, but they are not unless you use an area of effect thing near them, in which case it will trigger them to join the fight. And some of them also have a I will call friends thing,
Yeah.
or like if you
There
attack
are
them,
scouts, and they will see you and run towards a group. It's pretty
then,
cool.
yes. There's the next chunker has one little cluster like that if you try to fight, I could not do that fight yet. I was level 15 or something. I was a little underleveled. But let's talk about this chunker. So
Well, so I don't remember what it is here, but there is a giant monster around Colony 9. And one thing I've noticed is that all the giant monsters have fucking weird names.
yeah,
Like
it's
one
all
that,
like
again,
undulating
is next chunker,
Ted-
but is one that I can think of is like
unyielding Frank.
Standing Gonzalez.
No,
they
when I
have
say
names, John. They have fucking names.
that's what I said, standing Frank.
Oh, sorry.
Any of the
very
named
strange.
monsters are going to be tricky fights. And
Yeah, they're crazy They're crazy high level.
in this game, it's a out of game clock. So there are going to be quests to kill those things, but you might not get those quests till later. So if you kill them and then you get the quest, you have to wait, I think, like 24 hours of real time, like human Earth time to fight them again. They respawn.
Is that I've noticed that the quest log, some of the quests have little timers on them, though they don't seem to be counting down. They're just like little clocks, I should say. Like
I
little
think it says what
stopwatches.
time. There's definitely time of day quests
Does
where
it tell
people
you
are.
what time of day you can do it?
Yeah, because there's some stuff that only happens during thunderstorms or at night. And like there's
Sometimes
a bunch of
people just aren't around, like during the, not even like, I feel like in a Skyrim, somebody goes to a place and is there all day. And in this, they will come out of their hole for like 1 hour of game time. To complete some side quests, in this chunker, I literally had to, there's a skip time option in the menu. And I literally sat there with the quest log up showing me target not acquired and skipping an hour. Target not acquired, skipping an
that
hour.
seems like
Target
a
not
Matthew
acquired.
problem.
But I'll look at that. If those things show the time of day that you can do that, that would be amazing.
So Fiora goes to the military base to look for She-Hulk. And Dixon's like, oh, She-Hulk went to go get lunch, you know where. And she's like, oh, up on the Outlook, his favorite place. And so she heads out there and she finds She-Hulk and she's like, now I've got some food for you, but don't say it's delicious. I want you to tell me if you like it or don't like it. And he's like, this is fantastic. She says, you always say that. I say, no, I usually say it's delicious, but this is fantastic, which means it's better. And she's like, oh, I did use some special ingredient. Oh, it's sweet. I guess, are they a couple? Vanessa, what do you think?
I think that she would like to be, because there's a little Outlook here where you can talk to her and have a special conversation. And these are kind of scattered throughout the world. Yeah. And if you do that, she says something like, do you remember when we were up here and I said something so embarrassing like, we should get married or something? And you can be like, yes, I do, or no, I don't. I told her I didn't remember. And she was like, yeah, cool.
So this is one
I
of
told
those
her
things.
I did remember, and she was like, haha, it was totally a joke. We were joking, right? And you're like, yeah, I don't care.
Depending on how you do the choices you make in these heart-to-hearts, it changes your relationship. So you might get more points. You'll get more points for good answers. I got an achievement for getting it 100% wrong, which is
really?
great.
Was that intentional, or was that just your natural social grace?
Just my natural social grace. It was me, one with Ryan. And she's like, another thing that Fiora mentions is like, oh, Shulk, I saw that new fridge you have. It's so large. Like, I could really fit in there. That fridge just seems perfectly sized for me to get into and stay in there. What do you think? He's like, yes, that is a lovely fridge. And I think you would be excellent being in there. It's just a sweet scene between a happy couple, you know?
It is. It's very touching. And I think they probably will get married pretty soon.
Yeah.
Yep. I feel like she's going to be a party member for a long time.
And so then...
Did you mention that you get to play for her as a minute? For like 1 minute, you get to, when you run up to find Shulk, you get to play as her, which is
we said you gotta, that's why you gotta max out her abilities and buy gear. I totally did that the first time because, you know, I restarted the game, but the first time I totally spent lots of money getting her nice gear at the store. And then, like, leveling her up, fighting some monsters and stuff. So you go back to Colony, or you see, suddenly, the sky. Well, first you hear a siren. And then you see, that's not a regular... Because before, there was, like, a debris siren, and just random pieces of metal fell from the sky. And they're like, oh, it's debris time!
Yeah, it's a MetalStorm.
Ooh, that's a good name. MetalStorm.
We should start a band called MetalStorm.
I feel like there's an NES game called MetalStorm, and you played like a robot. So you see that suddenly there is a huge Bionis attack. It's not a debris or metal storm. It is a bionic attack. Well, what do they call them? Mechon attack. Sorry. And the colony is under attack. They're trying to arm those anti-mechon cannons, but one of them gets blowed up, and the town is really badly attacked. So you got to rush back home. And the first thing Shulk thinks is, oh, I got to get my hands on the Monado. You don't want the bad guys to get that. And I can give it to, I guess, Dunban, maybe? Is that what he wants to do with it?
Yeah, because he's the only one who can use it.
Uh-huh. Oh, there's also a cutscene I forgot about before this, where I guess you all go back to the lab, right? Because that's where you get the cutscene.
Yeah, and Himbo tries to use the sword, and it just goes totally out of control. But we also see it hit the lady, and it can't cut her because it cannot cut through flesh, only a machine.
I like that, and I like how
Shulk is researching the sword, and that's also when he explains that there are multiple symbols in the Monado.
And Fiora is very upset about Shulk not being worried about her, because he's like, oh, I know it can't harm people, so why would I be worried? She's like, because I almost got killed by it. He's like, no, you didn't. It can't harm people. And she will not drop it.
She's like, you were more worried about your equipment than me. It's like, you were not in danger. The equipment was cut in half.
Yeah, Rain really does a number. Like, you see his afterwards, you see his damage all through the office. It's pretty fun. We should also mention there are
kind
characters.
Of the shittiest lightsaber, right?
No, it's a good lightsaber. Like, you can't hurt people with it.
But that's
have you noticed
lightsaber.
The no-pawn, Vanessa?
The point of a lightsaber is not to hurt people. A Jedi would never do that.
I don't know.
What do you think of the no-pawn, Vanessa?
What's a no-pawn now?
Describe it, because I cannot. It's a circle on my screen. I'm blind.
Is a little puffball.
Maybe I need reading glasses to play this game.
I think you need to plug it into your TV set, Matthew. They are little puffballs
no-pawn
with long prehensile ears.
They're fluffy and cute and great, and I love them. And some of them have like a stick in their tail.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because the game doesn't really introduce them, or like they don't really fit into the world. Really, they're not like part of. I mean, they're there, but they're just kind of like. There's also these little bears.
Yep, they're little Ewoks.
They're not. There's none of them are main characters that I've run across so far.
So far, I believe there is, spoiler, a no-pawn party member.
Nice. That's exciting.
Ooh.
You'll get to really learn about the no-pawn. They're a big part of they're sort of the Moogles of the Xenoblade series. They are in every single game. Even X, which is not part of 1, 2, and 3. There's a spin-off called X, which is kind of a different kind of game. It's more online focused.
Teach me, no-pawn.
Yeah. No-pawn is wonderful. I love the no-pawn. They call they always are talking about their daddy pawns or brother pawns, and they really like.
They're all very childlike, which is odd.
But they're also like some of them you see wearing glasses and lab coats and stuff. Like they're ridiculous. They're great. They're the mascot characters of this series. I mean, they do remind me a bit of, what was the ones from the Choo Choo, right? From the Xenogears. Remember the Choo Choo?
No.
And it turned into the giant mech-sized Choo Choo at one point.
It turned into a kaiju monster.
Yeah, so it does remind me of that. But I think this is much less terrifying than the Choo Choo. I think the design is a lot cuter.
Did we talk about Tephra Cave?
Not yet. Oh yeah, we forgot. Sorry, friends. I'm mixing up what happens there. Okay, so after we go back to the thing. Ryan tries to wield the sword. He cannot. Then Dixon says, "Hey, we're out of energy modulators. Could you go pick up an energy tube from the Tarshi station to get some power converters or something?"
Tephra Cave. It's a cave. There's spiders. This is where we find enemies that can track us by sound. But again, I seem to be able to run circles around them without them noticing me.
Yeah. There's a cluster, including a named one, under that land bridge of these like slugs or caterpillars. And I found that fight I couldn't do the first time I go through this cave. I could do it the second time, no problem. But the first time in this cave, yeah, there's definitely some like named monsters you maybe want to stay away from. And it's interesting, as you get deeper into this cave, you start seeing more mechanical elements. And you, at one point you go up these like metal stairs, and you can look at this bridge, and it's obviously the bridge to a starship. Like, yeah, this isn't really a cave. This is a crashed ship. From ancient times.
I don't think I noticed that, but I noticed that there's a spot where you walk through an escape pod bay.
Yeah, this is definitely a crashed ship that has sort of become a cave and infested with monsters over the eons. And this is from like a ancient civilization, but they aren't like hiding the fact there's an ancient civilization. I think a lot of the colonies and stuff are built around the remains of ancient stuff, and you learn more about that as you go through the game. I think that's neat.
Klaxon.
Uh-oh.
Klaxon.
What's the klaxon?
Breaking. Gaming. News.
What?
Legendary Sonic designer
Yuji
Naka arrested in Japan.
For insider trading?
Yes, he's the latest developer to be caught up in the insider trading scandal involving the Dragon Quest series.
I haven't heard anything about this.
Yeah, I saw it
right
when I was looking at news, but I'd already picked my news because I wanted to talk about sandwiches. I had a dream that Yuji Naka had optioned my mom's like children's story for a video game, but she was like, I don't know if anything's going to come of it. So, and Rachel Bloom was in the children's story. When I was like reading it, it was like I had like these images of Rachel Bloom being the children's story like princess character. It was very weird. Dream.
That sounds like a great story, and I think you should do it. He's going to have a lot of time in jail to publish some books.
To make some games based off of children's stories.
That my mom. So first, my mom has to write the stories.
Yep.
I mean, that was the first time that you had mentioned that, and I was kind of like, so was that part of the dream, or did his mother actually publish a children's story?
She does not.
You
So, you get out of the other side of the cave onto this like outlook that where you see Colony 9. Okay, yeah, this is what happens. And there's like these banks of old energy capacitors that are full of ether, I think, right? Ether energy.
Yes.
And they're like, well, why don't we just synthesize the ether energy? And Shulk's like, well, it's just easier to get these because synthesizing takes a lot of work. We're not very good at it. We can just go raid this collection of ether plugs. So we just go up here and grab it. Except when they do, a klaxon, I thought that's what Vanessa was talking about. A klaxon goes off, and you do fight some, like, I guess they're mechon. They're like, I guess, no, they're just regular robots that
They're mechons.
Okay. And then this does seem to trigger the because you start hearing the air raid siren, and it's not the MetalStorm siren. It's the real attack. And suddenly Colony 9 is under attack. And from this little precipice you're on, you can see the colony like super getting smashed and people being eaten and squashed and splurted.
Yeah.
As these mechon are wont to do.
I have a question for the group. Did you run back through Tefra Cave, or did you just jump off the side of this fucking cliff?
I ran back through the cave.
I jumped off the cliff. It's water below. This game does do a jump off a cliff, and it is fun. You can jump off stuff. You will take damage, but your health regenerates like very quickly in this game.
You don't take damage if you jump into the water, I don't think.
That's true.
That's true.
If you jump into the water, you do not take damage. I like to jump off of all the cliffs, and I take a lot of damage from jumping off cliffs.
I didn't think of that, and went back through the cave.
I mean, it's a long swim. It's not a short swim.
No,
Right.
it's not.
I mean,
So
then again, this game does have an auto run.
Yeah.
Like an MMO.
How do you do that? Is it like L or something?
Up on the D-pad.
Oh, okay. So you head back to the colony. It is super under attack, and here's where you learn that while regular weapons cannot damage the mechon, it can if you topple them. So you gotta make sure Shulk has the break ability in at least 2 attacks by this point, probably, if you've been like leveling up. And if you do that, then Ryan can use his topple ability, which knocks them over, and then basically you can start attacking their sweet, goopy insides.
Yeah, it's frustrating because it is based on the AI, and I definitely spent a lot of time wondering why Ryan would not fucking topple somebody. Though Johnny did make it easier for me by pointing out that you can command them to all attack the same person, and then they definitely will do what you want them to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I've very much figured out a rhythm of like, tell them to attack this person, and then use the break ability, and then Ryan will knock him over.
Now, the game...
These fights are tough.
Yeah. They are tough. Well, actually, no, I was having a easy... But I'd figured out how to do the... I think I'd leveled up enough, and I figured out how to do the topple very quickly, because this mechanic's in every single Xenoblade game. So it's fairly easy, once you get to know it, to do the topple. And then, we haven't got to launch yet. It's fun when you get to launch, because they're just spinning in the air. You're juggling them and doing attacks. Oh, it's great. And then you can have like another attack, which has the smash function. If they're in the air, then you can smash them down. Yeah, it's great. And there's other kinds of combos too, but we'll get into that when the time comes. So you can also, the game tells you very specifically in a little tutorial screen of the 400 tutorial screens you get in this chunker. There's one that's like, hey, running away is totally a thing you can do, and it's a valid way to play this game. So you can totally run away if you're having a hard time.
And you can avoid most fights.
No way.
Yeah,
I
Vanessa
kill
would
them
never.
all.
Vanessa killed them all. So the town is under attack. You make your way to the central square which sort of connects the 3 chunks of the town. Each one has their own artillery tower. And in the central square...
They get to the town and they're like, we have to go to the lab and get the Monado.
Mm-hmm. Gotta get it for Duncan. But when you get to the... Or Dunban. I always call him Duncan. I guess because Dunban's not a real name.
Yeah, it is.
Dunban.
I don't know. It's like a Game of Thrones name.
Mm-hmm. At this point, you get surrounded by Mechon, and things are looking pretty bad. You tell Fiora to go get her brother. And they talked before about getting a mech to attack the Mechon too. But I guess at this point, they're like, oh, go get the brother. We'll go find the Monado. And I think you already have seen the sergeant guy who seemed like he was going to be a major character get totally killified.
Chomped up, probably.
And smashed into... Well, he gets smashed into the door of the lab, so you cannot go through there and grab the Monado. And they're like, uh-oh, we're going to have to make our way in there somehow. But then... who shows up to rescue when you get cornered by all these Mechon? But Dunban shows up, and he starts slicing through like a real anime boy.
And he has the Monado.
Cool.
He's super cool.
Already has the Monado. He's just slicing and dicing. But then you see like his face is getting super fantasy. What would you call it? Fantasy wrecked. He's getting all this like
he's getting all fucked up. He's like poisoned.
Yeah. And he drops the Monado, at which point fate calls. Shulk picks up the Monado and suddenly gets flashes of a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
He sees monsters attacking. He sees this big metal face monster with claws smashing into something. He sees Fiora having problems with her attacking with her mech, and then her mech getting disabled.
Well, I don't think he sees all of this at once.
He sees like a bunch of weird flashes
the first time.
Yeah, and there's stuff from the future that we haven't got to yet, too, I think.
Yeah, he sees himself running around.
Mm-hmm. So he gets a lot of these weird black and white visions, and he cuts back. He's like, back, but he's still holding the Monado, and it's glowing just like it does when Dunban uses it. And Dunban's just too weak to really hold the Monado at this point. But there's more Mechon coming, and it seems like Shulk can actually use the Monado.
Impossible. Only Dunban can use it.
I guess not. I guess that he's a good enough boy. He's like Captain America using Thor's hammer. He can do it too. He's got a pure heart. And
they don't explain any of this in any way, shape, or form. Has he? I don't know.
I really don't know. I haven't played far enough in the game. I'm sure this game will explain all this stuff, but right now, who knows? And then you get a tutorial on using the Monado. So there's 2 things you can do right away. One is allow your other party members to damage the Mechon by giving them Monado enchantment. And the other is like a power mode where you do like a super badass strike with the Monado.
I think Sex and Enchant is the way to go, gang.
I kind of mix it up. Enchant is good just because it does allow it really mostly cuts through really fast, and you can sort of take stuff out.
There's a bunch of them you definitely want to enchant right away.
At this point, you're going to find Fiora, but then you start getting attacked by this weird looking Mechon with a metal face, and he does look at you. And he seems resistant. He's not getting killed right away by the Monado.
Yeah.
He's got some kind of power. And things are looking bad for our friends here. However, who swoops in to save the day?
Fiora!
Kicking
she has a
ass
cool mech.
In a mech. Just like... Unfortunately, this is just like Shulk's vision. exactly like it, because Metalface turns, and at first he's getting hit by her Gatling guns, but he starts disabling the rockets and then the Gatling gun, and then punches the mech down. And here Shulk realizes what's going to happen next and tries to warn her, but it's too late.
Because he sees the future. He's kind of Edge of Tomorrowing.
A little bit. Mm-hmm.
She definitely gets fucking like grossly stabbed by giant metal claws. It's pretty fucking brutal, to be honest with you.
And then after, so you don't see her like get impaled. It sort of does. It happens off camera, but then you see the bloody claws. But then Metalface turns and sees Dunban and sort of pauses for a second, which makes me think: is Metalface? And I don't know the answer to this. This is not me having played further. Is Metalface Claws McTired Eyes?
That's a good question.
What do you think, Vanessa?
How could it be? McTired Eyes was a man, and this is a metal.
Right, but you didn't see him get killed. You saw him get like captured or something, right?
That's
you don't
true.
know what
No
happened.
body, no crime.
And the Metalface did definitely recognize Dunban. Like, it made him stop for a second. So that's
Maybe
my
Metalface
hypothesis.
I think maybe Metalface ate the guy. Maybe when they eat people, they get their minds, like a Borg.
Okay, I like that.
That makes sense.
I like that.
Like an eye zombie.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like that.
So then you fight Metalface again until Metalface swoops off like a Sailor Moon villain. Or an anime villain in general. And cut to the next day. Or, I don't know, some time has passed. The town is rebuilding. Dunban is talking to Shulk. Shulk is super mad. And Dunban's like, you can't give in to anger. I lost a lot of friends. And you have to sort of learn to live with it. And Shulk's like, I'm going to kill him. I'm going to find Metalface and I'm going to kill him. And Dunban can't come with him because he's just too sick.
Yep, still too hurt from the fight. So I think it's pretty close I think you're right. I think it's the next day. Because everybody's still too injured and Shulk bails.
Yeah. Well, and Himbo is like, well, I thought I was going to have to like convince you to go kill Metalface, but I'm glad you said it yourself.
You know what probably is a great idea the day after an attack by monsters that can only be harmed by a specific weapon is to take that weapon and leave.
It's true.
Yeah.
But we're taking...
But what else can you do when you're motivated by the death of a woman?
Wow, that's a good point. Fiora straight up gets fridged.
So he's going to go on he's going to take the fight to them. That's why he's taking the Monado.
Yeah, I mean, I get why he's doing it. I'm just suggesting that it's wildly irresponsible.
Yes,
and somebody should probably stop this child from taking off with the only weapon that can fight the monsters.
But
and who's going to stop him? Dunban?
Not Ryan.
I don't think so.
Dunban's too weak. Ryan is going to be your friend and tag along with you on an adventure. And they both head off. They're going to go find out what they can do. Are they going to Colony 6? Is that where they're going?
Yep. They're going to go to Colony 6. They haven't heard from anybody from Colony 6 for a long time. So they're going to go to Colony 6.
All right. And I guess next time... Oh, well, before we talk... Well, let's talk about Choose Your Own Adventure. Were there any weird side quests you did that had a funny moment or anything?
I guess I didn't do... I wouldn't call it a side quest. But I did the Collectopedia. And that was fun. And you just have to go collect all the little blue balls from around the area. And fill up... Has anybody else gone into this thing?
No, I have not even opened that menu.
Me neither.
You just have to fill the spots with stuff that you find around. But it gives you like armor and weapons and gems and stuff when you
I'll have to
fill
open
slots.
I started one quest, and it seems like this is going to be a long one that's going to take a while. But there are these two girls, and they were fighting. And what they were fighting about was who's hotter, Shulk or Ryan. One is really Ryan inclined, and the other is a Shulk stalker.
Shulkamaniac.
A Shulkamaniac. Yeah, that's really good. And at first they're like, well, why don't you go fight a super tough dragon, and that'll show that you are tougher than Ryan. And Shulk's like, maybe instead we can like show you can be like us and solve your differences by talking it out instead of doing that. I'm like, okay, then you and Ryan have to increase your relationship level enough to win this quest. And Shulk's like, okay, that sounds like a much better idea. So Vanessa, who do you think is hotter, Shulk or Ryan?
Well, I've seen them both in their swimsuits now. Mm-hmm. Neither of them have nipples. And
you're like nip crazy.
I'm nip crazy. I can't get enough of those nip nops. So I guess, Ryan is taller. Ryan seems the least like a child, so I guess I'll go with Ryan. Whereas Shulk, who I guess he's an adult, but he seems a very new adult, I would say.
Yeah, he's not drinking age. It feels like Ryan is maybe legal drinking age, or at least he could, with a fake ID, he'd be let into a bar for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Neither of them seem to be able to grow facial hair in any way, shape, or form. They do have baby fresh faces.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But
I'm not talking about like forming a relationship with either of them. It's fine for me to have an opinion on which one is more attractive.
Okay.
I actually don't.
You're a Shulk.
I guess I could be more of a Shulk type in general because I do like sweet floppy-haired boys.
Yeah, he's more of the James A. Casta of the two.
I don't tend to find anime characters attractive.
I do when they're big, beefy boys, but Ryan's beefy, but he's not Johnny beefy. He's more like himbo beefy.
I agree with Vanessa. I'm on the same page as Vanessa. In none of these games do I ever find these anime girls attractive. It's not.
Yeah.
Me neither.
What
kind of weirdo would find
drawing?
What kind of weirdo
the
would
boys
find?
don't look like as childlike, so I can at least understand Johnny. But definitely every anime girl that's ever been drawn looks like a child.
Not Bayonetta. She's a lady.
You know what? That's an excellent point. There are some anime ladies out there.
Mm-hmm. And she will step on you. All right.
That sounds fun.
Vanessa, is there a choose your own adventure you want to talk about?
Yeah. I talked to this old lady, and she was like, my grandsons are fighting, so I made a special biscuit. And I want you to take my special biscuits to the youngest grandchild. You got that? Not the older one, the younger one.
Okay.
So then I guess you have to kind of go to where these two are fighting and figure out which one is younger.
What?
That's not how I did it. I just wandered around and it was nighttime and I found this guy punching a tree. And I went to talk to him, and he's like, I'm training to fight my big brother. Are those my grandma's biscuits? Cool. Give them to Yuri. And he ate them up. And then I went back to Grandma. This is one of the few quests where you have to go back to the person. And she gave me some swimming shoes.
Ooh. I'll have to find... That was in Colony 9?
You must have done this quest, because you...
I did.
Did you have to go and figure out which one was younger or which one was older? Or did you
No, you'll know that there's a dotted line on the mini-map, right? Like, you just don't see where to go. You don't have to figure anything out.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't think I had it as my active quest, so I wasn't doing that. But, yeah, I think that was probably the one that stands out the most to me.
There was a weird one about this lady getting, like... what do you call that? When someone blackmailed by someone, or no, it was this guy getting blackmailed by his girlfriend. It was a whole weird quest. I haven't even finished that one yet. And there's another one with like delivering a package. There's just some neat, I don't know. I like the side quests. In this game, those side quests are not fully voiced. They're just text only. And in 2 and 3, I think more of these are fully voiced with like more elaborate cutscenes. But in this one, you can just skip through all that. There is, so far, one bullshit minigame that I've found.
Gems.
There's a gem man, and he says,
Gem man?
That's what the game calls
That's
him.
His name on the map.
Man.
Yeah, that's what it is.
And he will synthesize. You can find these crystals by defeating monsters, and then you can synthesize them into different like attack ups and speed ups.
You find cylinders by defeating monsters, and you mine crystals from the crystal spots around the map.
All right.
And both of them you can combine to make better gems, which give you power-ups on your weapons and items.
But then you get like more gems from them. And
There's
like it took me half an hour. I was making gems and then like more gems, and like one has to be the engineer and the other has to be like the crafter.
The shooter is the fucking name, which is what? And they have like, and the game has a tutorial that very specifically, it's like they have different abilities when they're in these different roles, but it's completely, I couldn't understand a word of it. Okay? It was nonsense. It was fucking word salad. It was like, this guy, Gentle Flames, is good. And for this one, he has fever. And I was like, well, what's fever and Gentle Flame? No explanation for those things.
Not going to tell you. We have a lot of tutorial menus, but
I went through the tutorial menu, and it does not explain these things.
It does not explain it. Did you try gems, Vanessa?
No. I just talked to the guy, and he's like, the machine's broken, come back later. And I'm like, never will do. Goodbye.
There's a whole animation, too, of the shooter and the engineer. Like, the shooter will push down on the thing, and the engineer's like clumping on a thing.
No way. It's one of them, like, pats the front of the machine, and the other one turns some knobs. None of it makes sense to what their titles are. It's insane. And the thing is that there's these gems, but there's a million different buffs that you can stick on there. For everything from like increase your HP or strength or stats to like defense against 400 different kinds of attacks. To
and also like
kinds of
make your first attack
hit more often,
better,
hit harder, critical more often, critical hit more often, critical more. There's so many that it is a joke. And
but
some
you want to have
has
these
slots,
gems,
and some armor doesn't have slots, and some armor comes with something already attached to it. It's a lot. This game is all systems. It's systems all the way down. It was written on a spreadsheet first, and then somebody put graphics on it.
And I feel like with Xenoblade 2, they're like, maybe this game would be better with more systems. And they're like, yeah!
It already is so much that it is intimidating. Like I feel like I am seeing cross-eyed while I'm playing this game sometimes.
With Xenoblade 2, I kind of didn't engage with some of the systems whatsoever. I was like, yeah, all kinds. I didn't realize there was a combat system mechanic combo thing that I could do until the last boss of Xenoblade 2. I was like, oh, you can break those energy spheres. Oh, I didn't even notice there's energy spheres floating around.
Does Xenoblade 2 also do the auto attack thing?
Yeah, they all have this combat. Identical combat.
All right, well, that's the end of the game.
Nope, that's the end of this chunker. Next time, you're going to get joined by two familiar faces at the end of the first real dungeon of the game, the Ether Mines.
That's where I am in the game.
Oh.
But we should mention that next week will not be a normal episode. We're having a Thanksgiving special.
Yep, we're taking a little break. Jim and I are going on vacation. So, we've already recorded this. It'll be on your feed. But it's technically a Cyber Monday special.
Yeah, it's a Cyber Monday special, not a Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
Bezos
we
needs
hope
to give
that
us that
you
money.
feel special when you listen to it.
Oh,
And what a great opportunity to play ahead in the game a little bit.
Yeah. So, what are you roundly for or squarely against this chunker, Matthew?
Listen, I don't want to harp on about it the whole show. So I'm just going to say here at the front in the first episode that I'm squarely against this auto attack bullshit. It is so boring. So boring. It's a lot like Final Fantasy XII. I feel like I can put the controller down and come back and the fight's over. Which, in some ways, has been very nice for me because I've had a lot of kind of spare time. So it's been okay. But I don't love it. That's what I'm squarely against. What about you, Vanessa?
I am roundly for the option to put all of the boys in this game in bikini briefs and have them run around looking all naked without any nipples. I think it's great. Let me objectify boys more often.
Vanessa hates nips.
I hate nips.
It's true.
I love boys.
She loves no nip anime boys.
Wait, didn't we claim earlier this episode
Yes.
that Vanessa loves nips?
Yes.
Vanessa, when are you going to have a firm stance on nips? I'm tired of your waffling. Do you or do you not like nips on your anime boys?
I'm a real nip flopper. So, Johnny, what are you roundly for or squarely against?
I am roundly for the just kind of bananas, bonkers
Bananas.
quests, the side quests. One thing is that quests are always initiated with a little bit of banter between you and the quest giver, and it's sort of
a little bit,
but it's generic
So much.
because it depends on who's in your party at the time. So it doesn't always make a whole lot of sense. They'll just sort of say like a generic response. Shulk will be like, "Oh, that sounds like a problem. How can I help?" Or Fiora will be like, "Well, I don't want to deal with this." Or Ryan will be like, "Of course I can do it."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sometimes your helper friend will comment as well when you're the lead and be like, "I'll help too." And you do get there's an affinity system between these characters, which we haven't talked about, and you do build your affinity by like, I don't know, talking.
And
letting them be in your party and talk.
And
Doing
also, I
quests
think
when they're in your party because they're like, we're helping people, and that's nice.
And also, if you're like, we didn't even talk about the encouragement mechanic or how when you heal, it gives relationship boosts. And this is a complicated
There's
game.
so many. I said it. There's too many systems. Like we're never going to be able to talk about them all. And do we even need to explain it all? Like it's.
I think it's.
But I will
funny.
say one thing that I learned is that you should talk to everybody on the map that has a name because they will like increase your affinity for the area.
And that will
So I
reduce
ran around and talked to
prices
everybody.
and stuff, and just give you a little bit of backstory to the world.
I am definitely not giving the banter my full attention. Like we were talking about the side quests, and and Vanessa's in particular. I was like, "Oh, is that what was going on with those biscuits?" I don't know, man.
All right, Vanessa, why don't you read this email that we got?
I would love to read this email that we got. And this email that we got goes a little something like this. To the beloved Square Roots family, some time ago, Vanessa expressed on air her wish for me to write into the show Jane Austen style. Given the fervent requests of late for listeners to write in, I thought it was time for me to finally take up my keyboard. I wanted to especially thank the pod for the last 2 series, as I really enjoyed playing along with The Wolf Among Us and Okami. Parentheses, I am roundly for Okami, but could have done with about 50% less bullshit minigames and 100% less bullshit misogyny. End parentheses. I am pleased to crown you all influencers, as Vanessa's 3D chicken puzzle exploits just led me to purchase a 3D bunny puzzle for a friend. Thanks for being one of the only reasons I look forward to Mondays, parentheses, and for almost making me die laughing at stuff like the thinner bit, end parentheses. Warm wishes, Tracy the Board Queen.
Bleep bloop,
Thank
I will
you,
not
Tracy.
be assimilated.
Dearest Tracy, thank you ever so for this wonderful missive. I write you now from Barnstorm Cottage, and things are progressing wonderfully. The war has taken its toll on morale. See, I'm trying to do like a Jane Austen style response.
It was real good. I'm going to read another email.
Okay.
Wow,
This is an email
so many
from
emails.
Marcus. Marcus says, I think y'all should play Ghost of Tsushima for the podcast. It's very fun and has a pretty great story. I'm not a huge fan of open world games, but its open world is not overly huge and is beautiful to look at. I highly recommend giving it a try. It's one endorsement for Ghost of Tsushima. Tsushima?
Yep. That's correct.
Ghost of Tsushima? Is that how it's called?
Yep. Good job. I have not played that. I think Jim's the only one who's played that, right? Or did Matthew play that?
No, I didn't. I haven't.
Yeah, I think it was just Jim.
If I
I've heard good
reactivate
things
my
about it.
Super PSN, I could do it. But I currently have that. Yeah, I don't know. That seems like a fun game. We could also play Starlink. Battle for Atlas.
Who's next on the choice list?
What?
This
I don't know what
month
that
is
Johnny's doing
Johnny.
Jeopardy this month.
Yep.
Last month was Jim. Is it Vanessa?
And it can't be. I think it's you, Matt. Because I did Taskmaster.
I'm going to put you all to work for Christmas.
Christmas work.
All right. I wonder what we're going to play. Oh, well, that's cool.
Probably some game that Matt will be super enthusiastic about during like the first 2 days of December. Then he'll stop playing it and we'll keep playing it. And then when it's time for the bonus episode, Matt will be like, I hate this game.
Christmas episode.
Like, what do we do? Whose bonus is it this month? Matthew, we played a 30-hour game. Oh, let's do a TV show. Watch 30 episodes of this.
Watch the entire series of Watchmen. It's real good.
There's only one season, and it's good. All right, Patreon. We have a Patreon for $3 a month. You get access to every single bonus episode we've done, including this month's aforementioned Jeopardy episode, which I think will be a lot of fun. Also, for $5 a month, you get access to votes. We will be doing more votes next year. We haven't decided exactly how next year's format is going to work. We still need to discuss it. We'll have to have a Square Roots house meeting and figure that out soon. But we'll keep you posted, and there will be plenty of votes again next year. No matter what you give, if it's $1 or if you're one of our favorite $100 a month donators, I'm just willing it to happen by saying it. We thank you on the show. We try to get through the names as fast as we can, but we only do 50 or so per episode. So here we're going to thank another smattering of listeners. I'll start since Jim's not here.
Okay.
I'd like to thank Chad Wilson, Justin Rash, Jake Dickerson, Friend of DeSoto, Aaron O'Toole, Teen Wolfhard Bumpkins, Stu Skeel. Oh, hey, it's Amanda P. Hang it up. Joshua W. Broxson, Orcus the Great, Chris Ryan, Mary Queen of Scoffs. Matthew.
I would like to thank Megan Sullivan, David Arnold, Robert T., Nick Moriarty, Nofford, Justin Ham, Andy Smith, Evan K., Isaac Wright, Julian Curtis, William Westgard, and Adrian Marriott. I didn't get any fun names. What?
I would like to thank Dylan Rowe, Samu Mitchell. Welcome to Cute Boy Jail. Honk honk. I'm the jailer and I got the keys. And if you want to get out of Cute Boy Jail, you better be nice to me's. Sean Gonzalez, Eric Bidgamini. Am I saying it right, do you think? Eric
I think so.
Bidgamini.
Seems phonetic.
Greasy Grouse Game of the Year edition, Nick, Kristen Ingram, Chris Penyak, David Green, Ian Frederick, and Magpie Juju.
I feel like there's a song in Chicago about being the prison warden and you have to be nice. Isn't there?
There is.
Yeah.
Got a little secret. Always sees me through. When you're good to mama, mama's good to you.
Yeah, that seems accurate.
They
All right,
say
and-
that life is tit for tat.
Send
That's
us an
the way
email,
I
please.
live.
We just
So
read
I
two.
deserve
People
a
like that.
lot of
Jer-
tat
You know our email address.
for
It's
what I got to
squarerootspodcast@gmail.com.
give.
Jeremy,
Or check
I
us out.
am Cyril the Wolf, abortion rights are human
Oh.
rights, Sergeant Spaghetti, Deeza Dees, Andrew Van Barson, aka Beava, Ross Hartley, Okami, more like Okama, Sol Wagner, Vanessa's Gold Taco Bell PS5, Lux Varial, Eric Garby, Jack Mazel, and Armin Hammer. We got email, as Matthew said. Square Roots Podcast at gmail.com. There's our Facebook, Square Roots Podcast for very attractive people. And I'm not sure if Twitter's still going to be a thing on Monday, but
Yeah,
if Twitter
it's
is a
unclear
thing,
at the moment.
you can tweet at us at Square Roots Pod. I guess we'll have to do a Mastodon or something. We're also on Discord. Figure out how to get our Discord thing because we're not going to put it
You don't want to go
into
there.
a public thing. And don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes, Ghana, wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes. And if you're listening on Spotify, don't forget there's a whole back catalog you can find on our RSS feed, on iTunes, or at our website, squareroots.libsyn.com.
Is
Matthew.
it over?
It's over. Matthew, start your goodbye.
For the Square Roots Podcast, I'm Matthew Van Zant.
I'm Johnny Brandon.
Oh, I'm Jim, but I have to pack my bags and go on vacation. It's going to take me a whole 2 hours, so I can't record. Ugh.
I definitely played the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Wink.
We're not even
And-
playing next month, and I'm already through the next chunker. If I finish this game before Thanksgiving,
month.
will you guys pat me on the head?
Yeah, it's super
Yes.
long.
Yay! Oh,
His head? It is pretty long.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, we call it a 6-head.
Bye. All right, that was a relative, well, at least shorter than last time. That's true. This cat's sniffing my leg. Oh, Jim is back for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
He missed us.
Yay!
I assume he's not recording, so I'm just going to go ahead and mute Jim. There we go.
Well, Jim's host now, so he can unmute himself.
Yeah,
If you
and he's putting his face right up against the camera
Is he?
Uh,
I never get this gallery view.
and just staring deep
Let's see,
into our
switch to
eyes.
gallery view. Wow!
Yeah,
God!
it's really something.
That is terrifying.
It's kind of
anybody
like
else
the
worried that
smiley faced
he's-
robot has come here.
Uh-huh.
Is anybody else worried that he is about to poop on camera?
I don't know, but he just left again.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's gone. So
Mhm.
maybe he was pooping, but we could just see his face. So that was it.
All right.
John?
So, yep.
weird quest.